Tonight I'm going to talk about something that most poultry farmers never talk about publicly. The real lives of farm workers inside your poultry farms. You know, a few days ago I went to the salon to do my hair, and I met this gentleman who is now doing nails for ladies. And the story he told me while he was inside someone's broiler farm really shocked me. And it's what I'm going to share with you tonight. You never know. Okay, like this is something I never thought I would really actually share. But I thought it may save someone who is planning to hire workers or who is already having workers on their farms. So stay with me for about 15 minutes, and the other 15 minutes will be for interaction. All right, if you're new here, joining in for the first time, we usually go live, and the first 15 minutes, it's for me to share my opinion on whatever topic we choose to talk about, and then the other 15 minutes are usually interactive. All right, so stay tuned as you are watching. Make sure you like the video. Double tap on the screen and you like the video. So I was in the salon like 3 days ago, and I was shocked, like kind of surprised, because the salon lady knows me as someone who rears chickens, and when she saw me, she was like, "Oh, Fridaus, do you know this man, this young man I brought in my salon today? He used to raise someone's birds." I was like, okay. So I was intrigued to listen to his stories. I was like, why did you leave that job? So he was like, oh, I never want to look at chickens again. I don't want to raise chickens again. I was like, Otio, so what happened? What made you hate chickens this much? So he started on his story. He told me he was working somewhere as a young boy, maybe around 15, 16. He was in someone's farm, and in this farm, the owners were a couple of powerful people. I think the lady was maybe someone in the judiciary, a magistrate or a judge, something like that. And then the man, on the other hand, the man must have been like a politician. And on top of that, they used to involve themselves in NGO work. So this gentleman, when he came to this home, they got him from somewhere. Maybe did he say Chenjojo? So he joined their farm. They are in around, somewhere around, I don't know, I forgot the place he mentioned. So they bring him on this farm. It was already set up. The structures were there. Some were empty, and some were the ones he was to work in. So at first they stocked 100 broilers. So they brought him the 100 broilers. He actually told me when he first came on the farm, he didn't know anything about poultry farming, how to raise birds, how to brood chicks. So they told him a bit, and I think he's the first learner, so he grasped everything. He took care of the chicks from day one until the 4th week when these birds were sold off. But before they were sold off, he told me that every week, whenever these birds made a week, this couple could invite their friends with the media and the cameras, so they would come, take pictures, take videos, and were pretty satisfied with the job this young man was doing. So they sell off the birds, the first batch. So the second batch, in the second batch, remember the first batch was 100 birds, right? So the second batch, they brought him 500 birds. He did the same. He raised the birds, and then their normal routine of bringing the camera people, taking pictures, taking videos, and all that. So what he realized actually, that this couple, they were receiving birds for free. I think they were getting them from the government. I don't know what really happened, because he also didn't know the details. So on top of them getting the chicks for free, they were also getting free feeds. So everything was just being brought to this guy, just raise. I think, like I mentioned, they were working in an NGO. So their job was just raise the birds. The market was there. They didn't even hassle to look for the market. Their job was just raise the birds. The birds were given to them for free. The feeds were there. And on top of that, they were being paid. They were being paid to raise these birds, okay? So after the second cycle, the third cycle, now the birds were now in 1,000. They made 1,000 birds the third cycle. But meanwhile, the number of birds is increasing, but the salary for this young man is not increasing. So on the third cycle, this is what happens. So they bring him the birds, and then he, as usual, he raises them. The camera people come, they take pictures, and they go. Okay, so the fourth cycle, they made actually 2,000 broilers. So this guy brooding and all that, everything. So actually the gentleman told me that on the fourth cycle, that his eyes had become blurry, that at some point he used to have shadows, because he never used to have too much time, like all the time he was usually inside the poultry house, inside the brooder. Actually, he was sleeping inside the chicken coop. And meanwhile, the number is increasing, which used to be a smaller number. It's now 2,000. So after raising these 2,000 birds, now the couple sits him down and they're like, we are bringing layers. We are bringing layers chicken. So they're switching from broilers to layers. So the gentleman, they tell him, oh, it's pretty much the same. There is no much difference. We'll bring you the chicks, you brew them for 5 months, and then we shall start collecting eggs. So the young man accepted, okay? Because when they were taking him from his home village, actually he told me that the lady used to be a kind person there, that she used to give people money there. You know, she was charitable to the people in the village where they got this gentleman. So the family really trusted this lady with this young man. So on stocking, they brought 5,000 layers. So this young man brooded those chicks to the point of a month when they are out of the brooder. So when the birds were out of the brooder, the gentleman realized it is too much work, and he politely asked them to at least increase the salary, because from day one, from 100 broilers to 2,000 broilers, now to 5,000 layers. He was doing all the work, and were using rudimentary equipment, washing the drinkers. You know how labor intensive those drinkers are, those manual drinkers. So he was doing everything. So when he asked them that I need some pay raise, these people, what they did, they didn't give him an answer or any promises for future increment. What they did, they brought another boy on the farm. So what this young man found out from this one, because they brought him and they told him that, can you help teach this gentleman who will be helping you as well. So they brought another young man. Now there were 2 workers on the farm. But what this one found out from the other one was like, oh, they brought me, they told me after you taught me, you are going to leave, that you're tired of working. So this gentleman was perplexed. He was like, when did I say that I am tired of working? Okay, like he didn't really tell this newcomer. He just kept it on his heart, and he didn't even bother to discuss with the bosses, because he knew anytime they were going to discard him off. So what he did, he didn't even wait to teach this one what to do. So the next day he just actually disappeared, but he kept in touch with this newcomer. So on that very day, okay, before even that, these people had actually, before he asked for an increment, these people had brought broilers. They had brought another batch of 1,000 broilers. So altogether, the entire farm had 6,000 birds, 5,000 layers, and 5,000 broilers. So the broilers were in the brooder. The layers were just out of the brooder. So when he had this, he just disappeared. So on that very day he disappeared, guess what happened? The birds in the brooder, they all died on that very day. How did he find out? He kept in, this newcomer contacted him, and he was panicking, was like, oh, the birds are all dead, the chicks are all dead, I don't know what happened. For him, he didn't bother. Then after something like 3 days, even these layers that were just from the brooder, they all started getting weak and started dying one by one. They started dying until the entire farm closed. Until the entire flock closed. So that's what happened to that farm. And I think up to now, that couple has never joined poultry farming again because of what they did to this worker. There are so many similar stories that are happening in your farms when it comes to the workers. I know most of you start poultry farms, but we have told you on this channel that when it comes to poultry farming, you have to be fully involved. And if you are not fully involved, actually, at least make sure the people you have left on the ground, you are treating them well and they are satisfied. Because if you are not doing that, you will not be able to prosper in poultry farming. There are similar instances. For example, there is another one. They used to spend like 3 weeks without going to the farm. So the day they went there, they were told that the day you left the farm is the day your workers also left. So imagine they went on their farm after 2 weeks. So when they arrived on their farm, they found their birds starved. There was no water, there was no food, there was no feeds. The birds were starving. They managed, to save some, but others actually didn't make it. And that's how that farm also closed. Farm workers, the workers you are hiring on your farms, are actually making you fail at poultry farming. And you do not blame them. According to the story of this young man, we have a few things that we can learn, we can pick from this story when it comes to managing farm workers on your farms. I know most of us who joined poultry farming, we were somewhere, at least we were doing a 9 to 5, and out of frustrations or out of wanting that independence and wanting the financial independence, we left the 9 to 5 work and we came into poultry farming. But as you are hiring workers, think about what really made you quit your 9 to 5 job. Personally, I'm a teacher, and I know what made me leave teaching. Maybe it must have been the bad administration, the toxic environment, the unappreciation that I used to get maybe from my bosses. I wouldn't really love the people under my company or under my farm to be treated the same. I want to make sure that I'm actually checking on them to make sure they are satisfied. One other thing that made me quit teaching for now, it's because I realized there's no growth in teaching. You do the same things, there is not much growth. So if there's one thing that I would implore farm bosses, poultry farm bosses, those of you who are willing to hire workers on your farms, make sure they are also growing. As the farm is growing, also make sure this person you've hired on your farm is also growing. How? There are so many ways you can make them grow. You can give them skills when it comes to financial management. Some of them have also ambitions. They've got ambitions, but they have also got families back home there. They've also, you know, they are maybe young. They don't have any direction. So if you help guide them, and at the end of the day, they also feel like they are part of the farm. They are growing. You know, they realize some growth in them, maybe financially, mentally, their skills are growing, their skills in management, their skills in managing their finances, their skills in raising the birds. If they see that growth in them, trust me, they have no reason why they should manage your farm badly. And if you, because after they came to work, and if you are increasing, if you're scaling up your farm, why don't you also consider scaling up their salaries? There's a lady I visited, and she shared some tips as to why her farm is actually thriving. The one thing she told me that how she handles her workers has really enabled her to grow. It has enabled her farm to actually grow, be successful, because she has been doing poultry farming for over 8 years, and she's successful. She's scaling up. So how does she handle her workers? Firstly, she made sure their accommodation is good, is comfortable. Not so good, but it's comfortable. Actually, her workers' accommodation is right next to her house. That's how comfortable she made them. And their beds are also comfortable. Some of you, your workers, where they are sleeping, you can't even sit there for a minute. Have you ever checked your workers' rooms, where they sleep? How are their bed sheets? Some of you, your workers' houses are full of bed bugs, you know. It's unlivable. You can't live there as a person. How do you expect your work to live there and then they do good work on your farm? So the first tip was to make sure where her workers are so comfortable where they are sleeping. Then the second thing, she doesn't let the workers know about the finances. What do I mean? What she does, most of you actually, you let the workers know how much you're selling the birds. Maybe if you're running a broiler farm, your workers know how much you are selling each chicken. Your workers know how much you're selling these trays of eggs. The moment you do that, the moment you allow your employees to know about finances, you are dead. You know what's going to happen? They are going to start calculating. Be like, okay, today, how many trays of eggs have we picked? So the madam or the boss is going to get this much money. And so this person is paying us small money, and they will start scheming behind your back. So make sure these people do not know anything about your farm as far as the finances are concerned. However, what she does, she gives them allowances. For example, the allowance from the manure, the chicken droppings. She tells them that if so-and-so comes here, you give them this manure, or you take these bags of manure to them. And the money which comes from that is actually given to them. She gives them this money, but she doesn't let them know that a sack, I have sold it at this much. No, she doesn't. She just gives them the money in terms of allowances. Any bioproduct on the farm, it's their allowance. But even these damaged eggs, because they are damages, she sells them and she gives them the money, but she never tells them how much she has sold those eggs. So never let your workers know about how much you are pricing your products on the farm. Then the other tip, she said, it's about phones. Phones have ruined people's farms, I'm telling you. It's a right. Actually, it's a right. She even gives them internet, by the way. She gives them internet, you know. All the amenities she has, she lets them enjoy. But the phone rule at her farm is that no worker goes with the farm inside her poultry houses. She makes sure of that because she's the one who supervises her farm. So she makes sure when it's time, for example, if it's 4 in the morning, we are going to the poultry houses, no phone. No one should go there with a phone. And then if you come out for break tea or anything, you can use your phone. But when it's time to go do the work in the chicken house, don't go with the phone. And they know that and they respect that, you know. Very disciplined. But what I actually realized that if you have workers on your farm, you should be at the forefront. They should see you involved. Some of us, we want to be bosses, you know. You want to be a boss, and then sorry about that. My baby wants to say hi to you. Sorry about that. So I was talking about you being at the forefront when you have a poultry farm. Always be at the forefront. These workers will only respect your farm if they see how much you put in your farm. Then the other thing is about the gender. I know we have a bit of gender equity in our campaigns, giving skills to ladies when it comes to farms. But I don't know if I'm being biased. You can let me know. I know there is a farm that hired only females. You know, it's a lady, so she's doing poultry farming in her compound. The chicken houses are there. So what she did was to hire ladies, some 2 ladies to help her. So one morning, you know, something was happening behind their backs and they didn't realize it. You know, when you have a big number of birds, you can never know if some birds are being stolen. And sometimes, so on the fateful day, they had a commotion in the poultry house. So, but being ladies, I think they were scared to go and check it out. They were not, you know, they're a bit scared. So they waited for the commotion to get done, and that's when they went to check onto their poultry house. They realized, actually, when they checked, they realized some birds were missing. How did they know they were missing? They found a hole. There was a hole in the poultry house, and that's when they came to realize that actually someone had been stealing their birds on the farm. Can you imagine that? But I don't know if I'm being biased. If maybe it was these workers were male, or they were, you know, maybe there was a way they could have saved the situation. But because they were all ladies on the farm, they feared to, you know, stand up against these thieves. So there's so many aspects. There's so many aspects when it comes to managing workers. But one thing for sure, never mistreat your workers. Don't be too nice to them, but I think you just have to be professional. That's what I would say. Just be professional with them, and they will respect that. Don't be too mean. Don't be too nice to them. Just be professional. Discuss about their wages. Let them tell you about their ambitions. And it's not a crime if a worker wakes up one morning and tells you that, you know what, I want to go. Because some people will be like, oh, you train workers after they have learned and they leave. It is okay if someone has learned something and they are going. It is okay. And I think as poultry farmers, we should be prepared for such things, you know. So don't be so heartbroken, or don't lose hope if you lose a good worker who is also going to start their own, you know, their own life. After all, these are all human beings, and they have a life to live. If they feel they don't see any future with your farm, or they feel like, you know, they're about to go on the farm, it is okay. So tonight I just wanted us to discuss something about how we manage our workers on the farm. But it all starts from the selection process. When you were selecting these workers, what was your criteria? What was your criteria? Where did you get them from? Because some of us, we actually go get our relatives. We don't even tell them. We don't give them professional training, and we want them to do the work for us. That's not going to happen. So just be professional enough when you are handling your employees on the farms. The other thing I wanted to share with you about workers is that, guys, poultry farming is difficult. It's very difficult. Every day managing of the farm is very difficult, especially if you are still using, these manual drinkers. Those manual drinkers are labor intensive. They are labor intensive. And imagine someone washing drinkers, those drinkers for 1,000 birds, 4,000 birds, 10,000 birds. These are human beings. They also get tired. I know you're paying them, but poultry farming, if not like, what can I say? Okay, what I'm trying to say is that if you can kindly invest in technologies that are being used on poultry farms. For example, the most effective way of managing workers on a poultry farm, the most efficient and effective, is by having cages. You know why people introduced cages? It's because they are so good when it comes to managing workers, and it will help you even reduce on the number of workers. The other thing the other lady uses is that every 1,000 birds, she uses one worker. Every 1,000 birds, she uses one worker. But some of you have 10,000 birds, and for God's sake, you only have 5 workers, or even 2 workers, or even 1 worker. How do you expect one person to manage that big number of birds? So the ratio of the number of birds to workers, you should really look into it. It should be convenient. Like I told you, poultry farming, the brooding, the cleaning of those drinkers, for those of us who do not want to invest in water systems. Even in a deep litter, you can invest in a water system. Even with 200 birds, you can invest in a water system. I have a friend who has those water systems, and they will save you. They will save you. They will make your workers happy. So washing drinkers, I was having a few birds here, but washing those drinkers was difficult. But I had to wash them. So I was imagining if I was really using someone, because they tell us that in poultry farming we follow a 3-hour rule when it comes to water. If you're using manual drinkers, you have to change water every 3 hours. But how many of us follow that? Because it's intensive. It's labor intensive. So let's invest in our farms. If you can invest in those technologies, they are for us to make the work of poultry farming very easy and not difficult for these workers. So that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. Some of us, it's a big problem, but no one talks about it. The workers are stealing chickens, the workers are running away from your farms, and you do not know, because you do not give them time. You do not even sit down with them to discuss it. Whenever you talk, you're asking about them chickens. How are the chickens? How are the chickens? You do not ask them about themselves. But if you have a 9-to-5 job, and if you have ever worked under someone, how did you want those people to treat you? And that's how I want you to treat your workers on the farm. All right. So I'm going to take the remaining few minutes to welcome you to this live and just go through your comments and your opinions about how you manage workers on your farm. All right. Hamza, thank you so much for being present. I appreciate. You give me the morale to always come back here. Chichoncho Grace, hi sweetheart, how are you doing? yeah, it's a fine evening. We are glad, we are so grateful, and I'm so grateful to be here with you tonight. I almost failed, by the way. Um, they were so mine. What do you mean they were so yours? Something happened to your farm because of the workers. Hey, I'm sorry. Hi, Marie. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Today you were late. No, you were not late actually. Not so late. Better late than never. Thank you for agreeing me. Nubian Universe, salams. Then Guma from Gulu. Oh, how is Gulu? I know people from the north are also taking poultry farming so seriously. I'm about to reach you guys there. You should you should plan for me. You should plan and invite me to come and see you there in Gulu. Farm Voice, thank you so much for tuning in. You're becoming regular. 17 viewers in here. Let's get the likes. Thank you so much for shipping for the likes, guys. Let's like this video. Don't be so stingy with your likes. Just double tap on the screen, okay? Yes, Hamza, thank you so much, guys. Let's like the video. Nubian Universe, thanks for the show. Very good information. You are welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, let's like the video. Mariam, good evening. Yes, good evening, Mariam. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, you've been listening. What did you learn from the video? I thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening in to tonight. There's something I have introduced on the channel. You know, you can join to be a member of this channel. I don't know how many of you know about that feature. You can join and be a member of this channel. The advantages of being a member on this channel is that you're going to have access to some information that others will not. Like, for example, the information about my story. As you all know, I've started expanding my farm. I've started by building a farmhouse. I'm about to update you on the next step. So kindly be a member, and also these lives, they are going to be access to only members after I have ended this live. So those ones who will have missed the live, you will not be able to access these lives unless you are a member. You have subscribed to be a member of this channel. So that's the beauty with being a member. You have access to information fast. Then Camp Farm, I have 100 layers in the deep litter system, but why changing water is so stressful? I'm telling you. Just imagine if you have 1,000 or 10,000. There's a farmer, you know, it's so huge. It's so huge, but they're still using jerry cans. You know these jerry cans? I was like, I felt so bad for the workers, to be honest. I felt so bad for the workers. So let's invest in, if you're really getting money out of your business, why not invest in a water system? Invest in a water system. I featured someone on this channel called Andrew of VetEquip Solutions. VetEquip Solutions is not, I'm not advertising for them, but I love this water system. And inshallah, if I start my farm, if my farm starts being operational, it's the first thing I'm going to install in my chicken house, because I hate washing drinkers. Sometimes they make the water dirty. I'm telling you, and your birds will never be free of coccidiosis. They will never be free because you can't ensure cleaning, thorough cleaning. So let's invest. They make the water dirty through scratching exactly after you change it. I'm telling you, it's so stressful. So if you are entering into farming, poultry farming, also consider investing in these automated drinkers. They will save you, and they will save you your workers much stress. Nubian Universe, what I say, do you have some Do you have some farmers on this live? How about you host some of us on your live? Good idea. I love that idea. So, as you realized, I can go live with some some farmers on this that I talk to. So, if you're here and you are a poultry farmer, I can host you as well. We can go live. I don't have to come to you physically. We can actually talk about something on this live so that others can benefit from us. So if you're here right now and you want to be hosted, let's say by tomorrow, kindly let me know in the chat box if you'll be available tomorrow or day after tomorrow, and we see how we can go live together. Because some of you are doing poultry farming from other countries, you know, or you are poultry farming enthusiasts and you're not here and I can't reach you. If you're on this live, you're from Kenya, you're from where, America, you know, wherever you are, and you are a poultry farmer, I can host you on this channel and we go live together so that we can, others can learn from your expertise. Anyone here? I'm welcoming you. Okay, if you don't want to mention here, you can actually reach out to me and we see how we can arrange and we can go together. Some of you are far away from where I am, so I can't host you physically, but thank God we don't have to be physical. We can actually be online and we actually continue to share experiences and make poultry farming experience better. Mariam is saying, treating well my workers. Thank you so much, and I think you must be happy with them, because if you treat your workers well, I don't even want to say well, but professionally, they'll be happy with you. Because sometimes if you treat workers too friendly, you know what familiarity brings. It brings contempt. So just be professional. I just want you to be professional with your workers. Because me, I really appreciated my boss to be very professional with me. And I used to be the happiest, you know. Wama, I have 10M. How many birds can I start with? How many do you want? I mean, which breed do you want to start with? Layers, broilers, because 10 million with 10 million with broilers, you can raise how many birds? 1,000. I think so. If you have 10 million and you're raising broilers, you can actually raise 1,000. Yeah, about 1,000 broilers. But for layers, 10 million is just enough for you to feed layers. For you to feed 500 layers, you need 10 million. So trays 500 layers, you need around 15 million, if I'm not mistaken. Layers, then that 10 million can raise about 300, if I'm not mistaken. Either 300 or 200, somewhere there. Yeah, but you need to price these things considering on what you have. I mean, the area where you are going to be buying things from. I sing Maria. You're a poultry farmer? Can I host you tomorrow? Are you ready? Huh? Are you ready? You can just share with me your contact. You can just share with me your contact. But my number is there. You can send me a message and I see how we can plan so that we can go live tomorrow. Including chicken house on that. No, no. I have not included the fixed assets. No, no. Mariam, I want 250. I think it will be enough. 250 is enough. 10 million should be enough with layers. But again, first do the pricing. Okay? First do the pricing of things, see how the drinkers, the feeds, you know, before you start, please and please, first do your planning properly. I don't want you to make mistakes. Do your thorough planning. Okay? All right. Any more questions? Any more? But guys, let's like the video. Who hasn't liked? Mariam, have you liked my video? There are two Mariams today. Who hasn't liked the video? Okay, if that's it, we have 3 minutes to 10, and I just want to wish you tomorrow I'm going somewhere. I'm going to visit the farmer, and I need to prepare. So I have to go to bed early today. Every day I learn something new. Things. Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in always. Tomorrow I may not. Okay, I'm going to make an arrangement with Mariam, but I'm going a bit far. But I will see if I'll make it back in time. All right, until next time, I want to say bye to you guys. Bye. Once again, thank you so much, and enjoy the poultry farming experience. All right. I live my I live your success. Who? You want to be Hamza? You want to step in for me? Okay. All right, guys. See you.